Hear anyone, that's better, I guess. Good morning, and thank you all for joining in. My name is Ashwani Mishra, and I'm the editor with ETCIO. And on behalf of the team at ET Retail and Microsoft Dynamics, I welcome you all for this session on how brick and mortar companies can stay competitive in the changing retail landscape. I hope this session will be worth your time, and there are some key learnings that each one of us can take back from here. To give you a quick background, we had a similar format in two other cities, in Bombay and Bangalore, and which witnessed attendees from around, most of the retail companies, around 100 of them, and it was power-packed with a lot of insights and views from companies. And I'm sure with the kind of distinguished speakers and delegates that we have in the room, we'll have a similar exchange of thoughts and ideas. Right, we are good to begin then. A low single digit is a common phrase in today's e-commerce circles, and it is roughly how much online selling accounts for in India's retail market. Should there be a sigh of relief? Well, I guess we should rather be cautious and not deceive ourselves with the insignificance of the single-digit growth number. The arrival of online sellers has already started triggering a massive churn in the way selling is done in India, and as in other parts of the globe. It has made sellers in the offline world, if I may use the word queasy, it has literally unsettled most of the brick and mortar retailers. I want to highlight a report from Knight Frank, which was conducted in partnership with Retailers Association of India. The study pointed out that the share of e-tailing in modern retail will jump more than 5 times by 2019 to 11% from 2% in 2014. During this period, the share of brick and mortar retail is likely to fall from 17% to 13%. I guess these figures indicate the changes in the future retail landscape. And I'm sure everyone in this room would agree and not dispute on that the future of business will have a significant role with online component being a key integral part of their businesses. The question, however, is how brick and mortar retailers are reinventing themselves, and how soon can they achieve this? What are some of the strategies needed to counter the growth of e-commerce? What are the advantages that offline retailers have over e-tailers, and how it can be leveraged? And how can right technology solutions be rolled out and effectively rolled out within their organizations? With these thoughts, I now invite our keynote speaker, Rajat Wahi, partner KPMG, who will share his views on staying competitive in the retail landscape. Welcome, Rajat.
Morning, everyone, and of course, I'm always worried speaking in front of a lot of very prominent retailers, because you guys know much more than we know. But anyway, so what I've tried to do today is to just talk very briefly on what's happening in the overall retail environment. Unfortunately, I can't see this, so I'll have to just stand on this side. And where is retail moving from the business point of view? What are we seeing in terms of the big changes, and what is the way that modern retail can basically work in competing? Modern retail, brick and mortar retail, how can it sort of compete with e-commerce, and what are the ways to do it? Because I think that, of course, e-commerce has been a very successful story in India. It's also filled a lot of gaps. There's a lot of debate on how much it's really cannibalizing sales. Is it cannibalizing, or is it just expanding the categories? For many brands that we talk to, many categories, we hear that it's mostly growing the category for them. I think the cannibalization is still a far short in India, because retail footprint was never that great. And India, especially if you get away from tier one cities, tier 2, tier 3 cities, people are really challenged in terms of how far you have to go and buy. Okay, how far you have to go and buy he was making me nervous, man. So I think that the thing is that, so from by talking to a variety of people across both brick and mortar, e-commerce, the sense one gets, and to the brands, because we deal a lot with the electronics companies, with the apparel companies, the sense that gets is that one gets is that currently e-commerce is growing the category. Obviously, brick and mortar has had its challenges in the last few years because of. So what I'll just do is quickly flick through it. I mean, some of these numbers are always debatable because it depends on which data you're looking at. But the overall view is the retail industry in India has grown 18% from 2009 to 2014, but an estimated about 600 billion. It's between 600, 650 billion, depending on what numbers you look at. Organized retail share has grown from about 6% to about 10%. Some data for some categories, it's as high as 20%. If you look at more high value products, packaged goods which are in the higher value, and some brands are seeing 20-25% of their business being represented by organized retail or modern retail or whatever we call it. But overall, it's about 10 to 12% is what the number one gets. So roughly about out of 600, 650 billion, 65 billion dollars is the footprint. E-commerce at about estimated gross, GMVs, if you take between 15 and 20 billion dollars, is already about 2.5-3%. So it's caught up very quickly. It's really filled a lot of the gaps that existed in our distribution business. The retail sector, as we expect, is expected to grow at about 10% in 2015, which is faster than 14. However, the growth rate for general trade has been slightly faster than brick and mortar because the organized retail shrunk a bit due to issues that most of you are familiar with, whether it was real estate, whether it was that lower consumption, the overall consumer sentiment, etc. Organized retail expanded, became one of the main things we talked about is spends, competition. Also, e-commerce has, if there is some level of cannibalization, it has been against basically your organized retail, because a lot of the general retail is basically grocery. Grocery is a tough category. Most e-commerce companies are still getting the handle on that. So that part has not been shaken up. But where the e-commerce has hurt, if I can use that word, to some extent, the brick and mortar is being around apparel, electronics, etc., which people were buying through mom and pop stores or EBOs. Again, it's based on current rate of growth. Online retail, which accounts for 3% of the retail market, will grow to about 7% by 2020. While organized retail share may go up to about 14%. I'm still a big believer that organized retail has a long way to go in India before it starts to tank. Just remember, in Europe and US, when e-commerce came, the brick and mortar was already established, very, very established, 100% penetration. You didn't need to travel a long distance to go and buy product. In India, brick and mortar is hardly existing if you get away. Even in big cities today, you have to drive long distances to get to the nearest high street, and the experience is generally crappy. You can't park, you can't get access to the store. So I think it's a totally different story. In India, I won't say it's a two-horse race, but both the places are competing for consumers. My sense is both will continue to grow, and I think and we can debate that later on how everybody feels. E-commerce in a short time managed to basically started to get into tier 2 towns. Delivery is possible. You can sit in a place like Jammu, Jalandhar, place, or sit on your laptop, get a product in, which not easily available in your neighborhood stores or on the high street. So I think it's filling that gap very well. The deep discounting obviously is a big factor which is driving consumers to that. Whether it can create stickiness, that once the discounts go, consumers will still continue to shop on those channels, to be debated. Because many countries which have where e-commerce pulls back the discounts, the shopping will tend to go down. But some categories, there is definitely a change of behavior that e-commerce creates, and I think that cannot be denied. People get more used to just simple thing like return policy. Most retailers in India don't offer returns. E-commerce, return without question. Huge change in the way retail will happen going forward, and any retailer who doesn't follow that is going to find it very tough to keep customers, because in the past in India you had exchange policy. If you bought it, it was your problem. If it didn't fit, you come back, we'll exchange it. E-commerce companies, they come to your house the next day, they pick up the product. So they are creating a change in customer behavior, customer interaction with brands, and I think some of that is going to have to filter into brick and mortar as well. And again, festive season this year, I'm not sure. I'd love to hear from the likes of Select City and all. What did they see in terms of footfalls and shopping in store? But just talking to various customers, and not necessarily the A malls, but B, C, D malls, there was a huge drop in footfalls. Whether that was consumer sentiment, partly driven by e-commerce, it'd be interesting to talk about that. And again, brick and mortars also responded by heavy discounts, but whether those discounts are margin eroding and bringing customers back, I think there are some debate on that. Again, for the brick and mortar, the big opportunity is really to leverage beyond tier 1 cities, to go into tier 2, tier 3 towns. The challenge is on the availability of real estate. Having an omni-channel presence is a good way to do it. Again, brick and mortar companies have generally globally been very slow to react to e-commerce and omni. Even if you take Walmarts and Macy's of the world, 10, 12, 15% of their total revenue comes from e-commerce. They just don't switch on to e-commerce very quickly. I think in India, there may be an opportunity for brands to do that faster because the footprint is not great. Rather than go and expand into every small town, make hubs around in tier 2 towns and use those to supply into tier 3. So there are lots of options available. Click and collect is another model which is emerging very, very strongly across Europe. Where you can, if I can order a product at Boots or any of the local stores in the UK, I can order it online, pick it up on my way home. So click and collect is becoming very popular. Click and basically deliver is also becoming very popular. So you order and the store nearest to you also works. So we are working with a couple of retailers in India right now who have good retail footprint. They are saying we don't want to go into the e-commerce model and burn a lot of cash. Help us expand the reach of our existing stores. How can I get more people to buy from my existing stores, expand the geography? So I think many new models will emerge. But the bottom line is that the brick and mortar will still be, at my view, is it will still be at the center of consumption, at least for years to come in India. In addition, the omnichannel allows retailers to virtual merchandising is available. Also just gives you a chance to get into some data analytics, understand what are the key offerings that work. I don't think Indian retailers really mind the data too much. Most of the retailers we talk to have 2-3 people in some back room, mining some very, very basic data, not producing a lot of data analytics, sitting with lots of data, but not doing much with it. And I think this is really a wake-up call for retailers to do more on that. Social media analytics is very important. We do a lot of work in that space in just understanding what are consumers saying about your brand, what are they trying. Today's young consumers really talk to each other. I have sat in a room with I was shopping with my daughter, when we were abroad. She saw a dress, she Snapchatted to 5 friends in India. They gave feedback on it. Instantly, she bought or no buy. So the decision making is really interactive. And I know we all, at least I can't relate to it. My generation, maybe many of you here can. But it is a very, very interactive process. They get feedback from people. If the experience is bad, the feedback goes the same way. Lousy experience, didn't get what I wanted. So I think all of those things are really worth building into your program as you're building your data analytics and your service metrics. And again, technologies such as augmented mirrors, people are experimenting with that. When we were in New York in June, L'Oreal launched a new app, and I think it's becoming quite common, where you can you can download the app on your iPhone, and then on the app it shows your face, and based on the lipsticks and makeup you choose, you click on the color and you see that color on your lips on your app. So it's doing away with testers, it's making virtual shopping easier. Lenskart does a great job with lenses. You can see what type of lens looks good on your face. I think soon you'll have apparel brands doing that. More and more of that happening, which really makes shopping very interesting and therefore easy to shop at home for some of these tough categories. So, sorry, I'm not sure what's going on here. Yeah. So here's I'll just run through my sort of top 10 tips, and I'm sure many of you guys may or may not agree with it. I think retail needs to bring back the theater. We just feel that in the past in India, you could open a store, brands are not available, people just ran to your store. You can see H&M is a great example. Great lines on the first day, now you go there, store is pretty much empty during the day. So big rush for the brand, but you've got to keep the theater going. Shoppers today got a lot of choices, a lot of options. E-commerce being one, home delivery, online, even things like home shopping on TV, lots of avenues for shoppers to shop. So if he's got a basket of 1,000 rupees, he can go and spend it across many areas. You've got to figure out, what do I need to do to bring this guy back in store? Make the customer the center of everything you do. Make sure that everything from your planogramming, and I just feel that even things like parking, how easy is it for me to go from a parking to find the store? Most of these high streets are dying in Delhi because they made it so difficult for shoppers to access the stores. Lousy parking, cow dung, shit everywhere, you don't know who you're dealing with. And that's where malls are better, because the parking and etc. is better. But the whole route, how do I find the store, how do I find the brand, make it easier for shoppers to shop. Mine the tons of data I've already mentioned this. People are sitting, and most of the retailers sit with tons of data, don't want to mine it, because we're still living in that old thing that shoppers anyway going to come because I have a brand. And you can see that with shop assistants in store as well, very uninterested, half the time not bothered. I'm like, I've come here all the way, I've made the effort, I parked my car, I've come here all the way. If you're not going to give me service, I'll shop somewhere else. I mean, it's just simple as that. No brand is so, unreplaceable. And today, I think the stickiness of shoppers on brands has really gone down. People need to wake up and think about that. Shoppers shop across 4 areas that I feel, and we discussed this. One is convenience, second is value, third is the whole prestige attached to the brand, and the fourth will be around how affordable and what is the overall the affordability of the brand. And if you don't stick 3-4 of these elements to your brand only on one area, and this is where e-commerce sometimes can get it wrong because it's only about discounting, but if the value, if the whole experience is not great, if the convenience factor is not there, then I think you're going to have a challenge in terms of getting those customers to stick to your brand. So stickiness is across 3-4 spectrums. You've got to make sure that your brand is talking to customers and your consumers across 3-4 spectrums. One area will not do it. If you're just convenience, but you have no value, you have no experience, shoppers will buy it for once and not come back. So I think you've got to think about those things. Leverage technology, so much technology available today. I just don't think retailers are thinking about it. I have so many cards in my pocket. What stops a good retailer if I walk into a mall for them to be able to have a chip on my card which says, here is the price shopper entering the mall, how should he be greeted, should a store manager approach him? Why can't we differentiate this? Every technology is available to do this today, but very few stores are doing it, very few retailers even bother to identify in the store. E-commerce, great at this. You bought so much, moment you go there, next time they know who you are, what you bought last time, what you even browsed last time, and they will suggest those things to you. So they are really leveraging technology to interact with customers today, and Microsoft Dynamics and other programs available to really connect with customers to drive that. Love and reward customers through loyalty program. Half the brands we work with have no loyalty programs in place, and loyalty program then means sending an SMS when there's a discount. That's not loyalty program. Loyalty is a continuous dialogue. You're doing a new launch of a line. Call your top 100 customers for a coffee in the morning. Your store is empty anyway on a weekday. Why not do that? I mean, in UK, Waitrose is offered, and I'm just telling my colleagues, they love this. In the morning, every Waitrose loyal customer can go in the morning and get a free coffee at the Waitrose, coffee or tea, and they get to know you. I mean, it's a big thing, yeah, on the way to work to get a free coffee, and they drink a lot of coffee and tea early morning on the way to work. It's a free coffee. If you buy anything else like a bread or you get a free newspaper with it. Huge hit. Every morning shoppers come there. So you get a lot of chance to do cross-sell, upsell with those kind of things. And my thing is that retailers today need to think of this as my captive space. When my traffic is low, what am I doing to make this thing interesting? Even if I have to spend a bit of money to do it below the line in store, it's a great time to look at that. Also, I think create business lounges. We were just talking about that. How many retailers have that today? I mean, you're a price customer, you've gone and spent 40, 50,000 lakh of rupees on a Sony TV or one of these things. How many retailers want to talk to you after that and say, great, you were fantastic, let me reward you? In UK and on many of the US high streets, people are doing that. They have business lounge scenarios. You go there in the store, they have a separate area where you can go and hang out. After 4 hours of walking on Oxford Street, you want a break, you go there, you have a coffee, you have a biscuit or some cake. Just a way to interact with customers. And then, just last 2-3 points, provide personal shopping assistance for older people who are not able to move around, and for high value customers, coffee mornings and special events. Don't see a lot of that. Maybe I'm not invited to these, but I'm not hearing of too many of these events in the mornings. Why the retailers don't do that? Mornings is a dead time in the retail stores. Why can't we do more events in these stores? And bringing in global best practices around merchandising, lighting. We'd gone to Philips recently in Amsterdam, and they have a huge program going on lighting. How lighting impacts shopping, and I'm sure many of you guys, the retailers, know this already, but it has a massive impact on how shoppers behave, shoppers interact. Can we bring in some of those technologies in? And last, change is the only constant today. So if you just think that I open a store, great, I've got a great brand, doesn't mean success. So success, and I think Select is a great example of that, reinventing themselves, having shopping festivals outside the store, doing a lot of interactive things to bring customers there. And then everybody says, great, Select is successful because of location. There are 2 retailers next to it, not that successful. So it's not just about location, it's not just about brand. I think it's about creating that whole sort of ecosystem that makes shoppers want to come back again and again. So that's really my short bit, but if any questions, happy to take these on later. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Rajat, in fact, for sharing the opportunities and challenges that offline retailers have, and especially for the 10 tips that you have mentioned. We'll now move to our next session. The in-store shopping experience matters now more than ever. Whether it is achieved from the integration of mobile to unlock the potential for unique in-store shopping, or an unexpected and fresh store design, or a highly knowledgeable, welcoming staff, or better yet, all of these, brands that deliver a powerful in-store experience will continue to prosper. To know on how modern devices can be leveraged for creating a great in-store experience, I invite Shaleen Verma, Retail and Distribution Lead, Microsoft Dynamics, to share his views. Over to you, Shaleen.
Hi, thanks. I would rather you have the clicker. So good morning, everyone. Quick one, how many in this room are brick and mortar retailer? And how many from online? So special welcome to you guys. Brick and mortar folks, you understand, there are online guys sitting in the brick and mortar session. There's something interesting on our side, I would say the brick and mortar side that we are doing. So good morning, everyone. My name is Shaleen Verma. I'm part of the Microsoft Dynamics retail and distribution industry team, participating in a lot of discussions with our customers here, specifically on how do we leverage technology in a brick and mortar conventional retail format. So Rajat spoke about how the online channel is leveraging technology to enhance the experience online. There are a lot of stuff that we can do when we are offline on the store in front of the customer and understanding the reaction that they're giving while they are on the store. This is something that is very personal. Today we all understand the only thing that helps a retailer or a person standing in front, the store assistant, is the only experience point that you have with the customer today, right? But that experience is only limited to the knowledge that store person is having on his hand, on his mind. How can you enhance that experience by empowering that store assistant with more content on modern devices like mobile, like tablets, like walls, Kinect, all these elements, and then have that experience going when the customer is in store, right? Just imagine things like customer walking in, game zones, right? They're so engaging. People go there, try out something, they engage with the game. They would always prefer that gaming better as compared to an online gaming. It is actually physical, you're doing activities, you're more engrossed into that particular activity. That is what brick and mortar can do for all retail organizations, against what our friends and online are trying to create all those trouble for us. So we have been, from brick and mortar's perspective, got into this wrong web of saying that we want to become omni-channel, and the next step that we do is go and build up a very good website, right? It's a good website, and I become an omni-channel retailer. That is what we all have done. What it does for you and particularly from the CIO standpoint, it has all added up only one another platform on which the CIO has to struggle all the way again to populate that with the product, the customer, the pricing, the promotion, which he was only considering till now on the retail store itself. Meaning, the question that is what we say, that if you have a very good, fantastic online presence, does that mean that you are an omni-channel retailer? If you are a brick and mortar conventional retailer, that is not the answer, right? What is important is leveraging devices, leveraging technology when a customer walks into the store, giving that consistent experience when he is in the store, and help that interaction being consistent, seamless across. So today, from the omni-channel standpoint, we will be covering around 3 to 4 areas, and I'll share some 3-4 use cases. How does that be relevant in an omni-channel world? So what we have understood from the omni-channel element is that you buy something online, pick up in store. One of the omni-channel, I just spoke about click and collect, those kind of model. Or buy online, but you come at the store and return it. Or you browse online and come at the store and buy it. Browse online means you browse online, add that whole stuff onto your wish list, come to the store, get that wish list out, continue your journey, either remove that product from the cart, add a new product, or complete that shopping journey from there. Just consider, we are saying buy online, pick up in store, buy online, return in store, browse online, buy in store. If store is not capable to read what is being bought there or what is being browsed there, if the technology is not capable to understand that, it is completely impossible to achieve that omni-channel experience across, right? Now we have brought this entire thought from omni-channel standpoint, we have brought this entire stuff into store now, right? So we are saying all these experience has to be delivered from the store. When you want to deliver those experience from the store, how can these modern devices help them? And what are these modern devices that we are talking about? Can we move away from fixed POS and have that interactive POS experience? Not only POS, it's actually a assisted sales or a clienteling application models going on a tablet. 8-inch tablets are available, 10-inch tablets are available. Can those tablets actually become a device which is not only a POS device, it is also an engagement device? 3 store representative, 3 assistants standing in the store, each one of them carrying a device. He is interacting on the catalog. So similar experience that you have on the web, you have the same experience on the device, on the tablet. We have something outside, we can show it. So on which you can browse, you can help the customer, compare, do those analysis, get more feature, add that to the cart, and then convert that into a point of sale transaction from that device. Not that yes, you have made your choice, now go into the POS machine and get your transaction done. Not needed. Do everything there. Now these are all mobile devices, which means these modern devices have to be connected with our conventional retail hardwares also. Brick and mortar retailers will understand. You have a barcode scanner, you have a printer, you have a cash drawer and all those stuff going on. So now in modern era, we call these stuff like a hardware station. So in a store like this big, you may have 2 hardware stations sitting across and may have 5 or 7 different devices stored, each assistant carrying a different device. If I interact with you as a customer and finally you want to buy it, I'll go to a hardware station, hook myself there, transact, send you a receipt on your email. We are done with that. That is the experience that we are talking about. Right? You have leveraged, this is one use case. Another use case could be, so from Microsoft standpoint, we have a product called Kinect. You all understand, right? You know that? The Kinect with Xbox 360, now Xbox One has that Kinect. Kinect has this very unique feature wherein it can sense you entirely and present you in front of the screen. How can you leverage Kinect as a device as a virtual change room and eliminate all the change rooms? So you get a Kinect, customer is on the LED, on the screen in front, he or she can select all the product, try it on him, identify what that can be connected to social media, same thing, you can get your feedbacks, etc. Finally make a purchase. Now just imagine, a customer browsed something online, now he has come to the store and sitting on the device. Now that catalog that he browsed there is not here. Doesn't make sense, right? Because that is a different technology, different e-commerce, this is in-store, you don't connect, it doesn't carry that experience across. The same catalog moves across here, it is there. Now once he has made or he or she has made the choice, he should be able to convert that into sale from that device itself. It should not be that you have made a choice, now go back to the fixed POS machine and make the choice. Another use case. Consider another scenario where now from Microsoft standpoint we are coming up with things like HoloLenses and all, right? A virtual reality getting into the store, you are trying out a lot of stuff within that. So one of the discussions we are doing with a QSR, how does you sitting on the table, you have a plate and a pizza coming on there, you are trying out different things, finally you have done. You made your pizza, it's all prepared, but it's virtual. Till the time you order, that pizza will not come really on your plate, right? So you need to have that technology in place wherein you can order that so that someone gets that real pizza on your plate, right? So that is what these devices are doing in future. From our standpoint, from Microsoft standpoint, we are leveraging all these as a technology, but what is important for you to understand is that these are all different technology pieces. If the technology that is powering these pieces are different, it is only CIO's job which is getting all the more complex. He will have one ERP, he will have one POS, then you have added an online channel, then you get a Kinect in place. You need to power these devices with content. That is what we at Microsoft do, is that we power everything on one single platform. Everything is powered from one single platform, whether it is catalog, pricing, promotions, customer, social, all powered through one single platform. And you eliminate this stuff of integrating here and there. We have picked up one use case. I'll just share one quick use case, and then we can carry on further a bit more.
Retail customers want more personal, relevant experiences on their terms. Microsoft Dynamics for Retail enables you to engage anytime, anywhere with customers based on their contact preferences and offer rich, immersive experiences to build profitable relationships. With Dynamics for Retail, sales associates can use rich and immersive clienteling experiences on mobile devices to turn point of sale into point of service. I'm a sales associate using a Windows 8 tablet on the sales floor to assist a customer interested in a new digital camera. With access to more than just product information, I can bring up reviews and side-by-side comparisons to advise and help determine the customer's best option. By engaging more with the customer, I hope to provide them with an amazing experience. Dynamics Clienteling app makes it easy for me to cater to unique customer needs and increase purchases, cross-sells, and upsells on the store floor. With an individual's purchase history, wish lists, and product recommendations right at my fingertips, I can make the most out of every customer touchpoint. On this details page, I can see purchasing trends like when the customer shops most often, which categories she spends the most in, and her typical price points. With rich, immersive, and mobile retail experiences, Microsoft Dynamics helps you shift from point of sales to point of service to build more profitable customer relationships every day. Find out more about Microsoft Dynamics Clienteling app at www.dynamics.com/AX.
Quick one, this is one of the use cases that we just discussed. How do we deliver this entire stuff on a device like a tablet? And this again can be you can have a kiosk wherein a customer can on his own come on the kiosk, start browsing it, add to the cart, and then the shopping assistant, the store assistant can come in and complete that shopping. So we generally consider this particular use case as particularly it's around engaging with the customer. And what is important is offering the choice, but while you are offering the choice, it has to be empowered assistant offering the right choice. I keep on quoting this particular example. People who have met me earlier probably would have heard this also. This is a consumer electronics multi-brand retailer wherein a customer walked in and he says that I want to buy a refrigerator. They're all, and electronics retail, right? Whenever you buy, you research a lot before you come to the store, which means that research only confuses you. And then that is the reason why you have come to the store, to get the right product, right advice, so that you buy the right product. Now he comes over there, sits, sees all those refrigerators. One of the refrigerators, he finds that there's a marking of 5-star on top of that. He calls an assistant, he says that this is good, what is this 5-star rating? He says these kind of refrigerators are generally deployed in 5-star hotels, hence it is a 5-star rating. You need to offer choice, but the right choice. And you can offer the right choice only when you are empowered with the right information, right content, right data. And that is what it does. If you see that example, it said that for that particular camera, it is not only product basic parameter, it has entire detail along with comparison, right? It also pulled in the reviews from social media. Those all elements were, it was all content powered because data was there. And hence that conversation is something that converts that into the sales. So offering the right choice with right content is important. Assistant the customer. Customer has come to the store. Just compare when he is browsing online, right? He has 3 browsers open, Snapdeal, yes, Flipkart, yes, all open together, comparing here and there, understanding everything. Now just imagine and convert that back when that customer comes to the store. And he wants assistant, he wants some assistance when he is on the floor. And with what you are giving that assistance? With a person who is just 15 days old in the field. Earlier he was with Van Heusen, now he is with Arrow. Is he aware about everything regarding Arrow as a shirt, as a brand, as a value proposition that Arrow gives against, say, Van Heusen? No. How can you empower them? And probably 15 days back he has joined Arrow. 3 months down the line he might be somewhere else, right? So how do you empower that particular store representative, a store assistant with right content which is digitally powered on the device? That's where it talks about. And then of course, like you saw in that example wherein you have got the customer choices, right? When you selected the customer, it says what are your purchase history, when did you purchase what, with this product I can upsell this. So that is where you are nurturing that, engaging that customer further, right? So our objective, and that is what we will continue in the marketplace. We are all willing to meet you all the way to just converse, take the conversation further. In-store technology, leveraging how we can leverage that in-store technology, platforms, etc., to power that growth and help you all to compete with that so-called omni-channel, online channel, online commerce competition that you're facing in. How can we leverage technology, devices, etc., to enhance that experience when a customer walks into the store? We are quite willing to do that at Microsoft. We'll be happy to engage with you all. That's all I had. I'm open to take up questions if you have, or we can converse later as well.
We have time for a couple of questions if there are any.
None? Thank you so much for your time. So, yeah, so I will take it to the back, in fact, the basics. So one of our customers had, retail generally is a complex, just like banking, you end up getting into multiple application scenarios. So this particular customer had around 18 applications for different purposes. So he has a global ERP, that's for sure, that's already there, but there are two formats of retail. Each of those retail were different as far as vertical was concerned, hence two different POS. They had a distribution channel, something else for that. They had schemes operation for them. They had a different mobile application. Now, each one of those were having their own master data. And when they saw our platform, they said that this is what is creating problem for me, and hence I'm not able to deliver that experience to the customer. So instead of just replacing that point piece with us, they said that we will go back and replace our entire master data system to build that entire master data system into one. So now all those applications in front are getting that feed from one platform, and now it becomes simpler for them to bring in one by one each channel. So they are already brought in 2 channels. These are around 7,500 partners, which is mix of retail stores, mix of distributor, dealer, online channel all across. So now on the online channel as well, the catalog goes from here. If a customer buys something there and comes to the store, it is one customer for him. So that is what they have achieved. So as I said, it is too early for India, and it is not the right approach as well to plug in a good point solution and then add to the complexity again. So what folks are doing is that, and that is the right approach, get the basics in place first so that you can actually deliver that omni-channel experience. Like when you have an online channel, you have a catalog system, right? But this is an in-store. Now you want to publish that catalog also in-store. Most of the POS systems are not capable to deliver that catalog experience. They're just product, barcode, but stuff. That is what it does. The platform delivers not only product, it also extends that to catalog with all digital assets, comparison, videos, product catalogs, reviews, etc. all. So that is important. So what I said that in India, this is what we have observed. And folks who are talking to us, the customers who are talking to us are mostly getting their backend in shape, consolidated, rather than getting the point solution in place. If these technologies become very simple to adopt after that. Yeah.
It's too early for India. Why do you say that?
No, I'm saying it is too early for us to be in India to sort of convert that lot of front-end part. So that is where we are saying that we interact with retailer, we go back and say that first get this in shape and then bring it over here, bring the channels one by one. And that is why I said it is too early for us in India, because none of the retailers have actually completed that journey. There are retailers who have who had some other ERP, who had some other point of sale solution, then they looked at our platform and they have replaced everything. So we have a deployment which is going on from manufacturing, distribution, warehouse, transportation, POS, e-commerce. That entire thing is one platform. Rajesh, you are doing Dynamics. That is, so you started with manufacturing part first, and then it comes along. So that is the phase wherein we are. So I spoke about our experience in India. That is what Rajesh said. And that is a bit early because we have observed that till the time you get your base consolidated, it becomes very difficult to get these points. It only add to the complexity. There is a customer, global customer of ours. In their ecosystem, they have 88 applications. 88 applications for different purpose. 3 years back, they decided on our platform. They said that we will phase off 65 of those applications with one platform. The life of CIO gets much simpler. Most of the development happens on the Microsoft platform itself, right? So instead of writing something outside, you write everything within, and then becomes that eliminates that integration challenge. That's what I meant.
And in your even taking your global experience,
Mm-hmm.
do you see a difference in the Indian retail environment and solutions using for that versus what's applicable at
It's completely upside down, I would say. So we can definitely refer to certain areas. Raja spoke about click and collect. It's a good choice. But then again, when you click there and you want to collect, and you have all this complexity of what you spoke about parking and all this stuff, it will create a problem. But more from technology standpoint, you click there and collect there. If these two are different technology, again, it's not connected. While you have clicked there, the data has not come in at the store, and the data is gone. So I think technology, the business processes, everything has to evolve. We can definitely take some references from global world, but our retail is completely different. It's unique over here. We have to evolve our own way. We can, as Microsoft, only participate in those conversations and bring in those elements over here. So, but we are doing everything here in India. So it has been quite, the last 3 years has been, I think there's around 15,000 odd stores are now getting rolled out on Dynamics within these 3 years. It has been quite exhaustive stuff. So doing something right, but we are going to the basic and correcting those rather than bringing these future stuff. So if you talk about that customer, now bringing in a Connect and a catalog or a virtual change room becomes simpler for them. Earlier it would have been an integration challenge for them. Okay. Sorry, I pulled it a bit longer. Thanks a lot.
Right.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Considering like the size of the maybe the mom and pop stores is very small.
Mm-hmm.
So would it not be cost prohibitive for people to maybe put these kind of technology and?
So just because Microsoft don't consider the cost element, tablets are available nowadays starting 10,000 rupees.
No, tablets is fine, but
yeah.
What about the back-end technologies?
No, it's not very. So there are different models available. Cloud is available. There's different model of deployment available. Okay. So there's no such challenge. Technology, consuming technology is becoming quite affordable now. The only thing that we would suggest is people are still investing in technology. People are still investing in technology. You have to do the right investments. I generally, when I talk to the customer, say that I want to do this, customers say that I also do it. It is not that you do or you don't do it. It is the way you do it. The way you achieve it today, it's a huge mechanical integration that happens between moving data here and there. Just imagine your IT team spending that 30th of the month, night of that day or first morning, Sara sales ka data aa gaya hai, nahi aa gaya hai, from all the channel it has come, right, figures have gone or not. It is too cumbersome. So it is important to have that, the way you achieve, that particular piece has to be right. But to answer your question, it is not that prohibitive now or now. It's quite affordable.
Right, thanks Shaleen.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, there is a Microsoft demo zone on the right-hand side as you leave this room. So, if any one of you are interested in having a hands-on experience on the tablets that are kept out, you may try. There's also a feedback form that was given to all of you at the point of registration. If you could just fill it up and keep it on your tables, at the end of the session, we'll collect it. Thank you. We'll now move to the final session of the day, a panel discussion on how brick and mortar can stay competitive in the changing retail landscape. For this, I want to invite a power-packed panel that we have today. Mr. Venu Nair, MD, Marks and Spencers. Rajesh Jain, Director and CEO at Lacoste India. Deepak Agrawal, who until recently was the CEO of DLF Brands and is now starting his own e-commerce venture. I'm sure he'll be adding a good perspective on the debate. Yogeshwar Sharma, Executive Director, Select City Walk. Sudhanshu Gupta, AVP Business at Paytm. And I once again invite Rajat Wahi, partner KPMG. To moderate this session, I invite my senior colleague, Rasool Bele, Senior Assistant Editor at Economic Times. Over to you, Rasool.
Thanks, Abhishek. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I, on behalf of Economic Times, ET Retail, and our partner Microsoft, welcome you all to the final leg of our ET Retail Forum. We had two similar events in Bangalore and one in Bombay. So this is the final one, and we have a power pack panel who would discuss the changing landscapes of Indian retailing. So you guys, everyone is here to listen to our power pack panel. So I'll keep my introduction really brief. We can trace the emergence of modern retail in India to almost 25 years when Shoppers Stop started in 1991. But the real action started 10 years ago, from 2005 onwards to 2015 now, But what an eventful decade it has been. India's organized retail, nascent organized retail sector has seen its ups and downs, seen the roller coaster ride. 2005, when it was really hyped, it was touted as the next sunrise sector after IT and telecom. People went overboard, people started investing billions of dollars, Reliance, Aditya Birla, Tata's, you name anyone, Bhartis of the world. Then the 2007 Lehman Brothers crisis came, and then things changed for the biggest challenge for Indian retailer came, and funds started to dry up, people started consuming less. And then by the time Indian retailers had expanded so much, they thought by getting thousands of stores, we will get to profitability and we would make a huge fortune out of it. But that wasn't supposed to be so. And then there was a time, I remember during the hype, Vishal Retail was going for an IPO, and its issue was oversubscribed on the first day 70 times. Even though the issue came on the same day as DLF Limited. So the appetite that time, today we know where is Vishal Retail. Then Indian retailers were trying to get things done, trying to get back on their feet, by they're cutting the flap, they were closing stores in droves. They were looking at profitability, they were looking at store level profitability. They were trying to get back on feet, and many of them were getting there, and all of boom, then this e-commerce thing came, the biggest disruptor so far, which is seen by many as a bigger disruptor, because it's eating into the wallet of the consumer, which could have otherwise gone to the organized retailers, and it's cannibalizing the same 10%. Which organized retailers are fighting for. So I just wanted to set the ball rolling. Let me just ask our distinguished panelist. Let me just begin with Rajesh. How much disruptor do you see e-commerce as?
Thank you, Rasool. So first of all, I think I don't consider it as a disruptor. Honestly speaking, I don't even agree with the topic here today, which insinuates that brick and mortar and e-com, these are two separate things. They're competing with each other. They're against each other. I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
They are the complementary thing. They supplement each other and complement each other.
Okay.
End of the day, both of them are retailers. I'm a very big supporter of e-com. It allows you to reach out to those customers to whom you cannot reach otherwise, either permanently or temporarily.
Right.
So when I say permanently, for a brand like us, which is Lacoste, which is not present in, let's say, tier 2 or tier 3 cities, but we have some customers there. They're able to reach out through e-com if we were present in web stores or mobile applications. And temporarily for those customers, like customers like us, we are all working in corporate environment, we don't get time, we reach home late and we don't have time, but we still want to shop. So that application allows them to reach out and buy online.
Right.
Because of that, it is not a competitor with each other. It's a supplementary platform, supplementary channel for brick and mortar as well.
But don't you think it's like wherever you go these days, like, wherever retail summits you go to, it's sort of us and them, like, the division is clearly visible.
Okay.
The brick and mortar guys have gone to the court saying that these guys are like circumventing the laws, and so the division is already there. And I put this question to Snapdeal's Kunal Behal. Are you a retailer? He said, no, I'm not a retailer. I'm a tech company.
So that goes against their legality. So wouldn't be able to comment on that.
So
but let me
just take this to Sudhanshu. You as Paytm, you are a marketplace. Are you a retailer? Are you a tech company?
So we are not at all a retailer.
Right.
There
you go.
And I actually wanted to clarify this. See, there are different types of e-commerce companies, right? You have a e-retailer, which Flipkart, let's say, started out with, right? The second model is more of a hybrid, where you have a captive captive seller, so to speak, right, with you, which takes care of 80% of your business, and then everything else goes to other sellers, right? So that's the hybrid model. And the third one is a marketplace, right, which is a pure marketplace. So, I mean, I can speak for myself and for my organization that Paytm does not even have a captive or a preferred seller like that, right? We are truly a marketplace, right? I agree with Rajesh that I don't agree with this with the question here as well, right? Because let me take an example of China, right? It is possible that the retailers, right, the brands and large offline retail chains can coexist with an e-commerce platform. And the best example for that is Tmall or Alibaba, right, the Taobao group, right? So I'll give you an example of what we're doing here at Paytm. We already are working with one of the largest offline mobile store chains in the country, right? With them, we work in a sort of a hyper-local model where we are able to offer 2-hour delivery to the consumers. And it's added sales for that retailer, correct? The user is getting the convenience of not even going to the store. He knows what he's buying. And he knows that he's buying from a trusted offline retail chain, right? He places the order, the offline retail chain delivers it to the user, right? So that's the thing, right? So you've got the third model, which is the marketplace. And now technology is even further adding on to the benefits. So you have hyperlocals, you have online to offline, right? So what will happen is that tomorrow I might walk into a Select City Walk, right? And maybe on the Paytm app, suddenly I see all the offers that are on at the retailers which are present in Select City Walk. If I am integrated with, let's say, Marks and Spencer, right? I may even be able to see that because I am a loyal customer of Marks and Spencer, I may even be able to see that offered specifically for me, right? So yeah, so we are a technology company, and this is how technology essentially is going to disrupt and add more to what the current scenario is.
Right.
Yeah.
And the technology, because of this e-commerce emergence, the rapid growth, has it made India's brick and mortar retailers talk about technology as well. Wherever you go these days, everyone is talking about omnichannel. Somebody mentioned that omnichannel has become sort of a most misused word in Indian retail right now. Because I asked one, I won't name the company, I was one CEO of a company. So what's your omnichannel strategy? He said, we have a couple of stores in Delhi where we have tablets where customers can order from those tablets. Obviously, all of us know that omnichannel is much more than that. But at the same time, they talk about omnichannel, but none of the Indian brick and mortar retailers have actually gone and gotten an omnichannel platform. They talk about lot, first Diwali they talked about. Then the last Diwali, it was when this online retailers the Big Billion Days and Diwali sales were extremely aggressive. and then this year, Diwali, third Diwali has passed, but we haven't seen any omni-channel strategy on the ground from brick and mortar retailers. I would like to ask you, Deepak, like, why is it so? Is it time consuming? Is it money, or what's the reason?
I think first of all, they're fooling themselves. There's nothing like omni-channel, and that's not a way to fight the disruption.
So what do you suggest?
So let me go back to what exactly is the threat. And there is a threat. I mean, of course, Rajesh is a brand marketeer, so he's neutral to the threat. No, he can switch to any of the channels.
Right.
But the retail is under threat clearly, and the way, like if you look at some of the models like Paytm, if you look at the models like marketplaces, it is actually strengthening the other threats of organized retail. So let's talk about a marketplace. What marketplace is doing is that it is bringing thousands of small vendors, giving them a platform to sell or present their products properly, which will fight with the organized retail. You're talking about online to offline. You're talking about tons of fashion discovery platforms. So it's not just e-commerce. E-commerce is as a term has got a much extremely wider connotation. There are 7, 8, 10 different models prevailing today. And the real threat is the disruption. So each one of these models is a disruption to a retailer. And the retailer reacting, in fact, Rajat actually explained the entire laundry list of what they need to do. But can they do all those things? They cannot. So, I mean, they're reacting by trying to be an omni-channel player, trying to go online is like a mouse naming himself as a jumbo and going into fight with an elephant. You cannot. The real problem is not even disruption. The real problem is the belief in disruption.
Right.
So none of these people have a business case. We all made mockery of their model for years that, Flipkart's
So
earning 2,000 crores.
Are they living in denial that, okay...
They are living in denial. They are living.
In US, they would argue in US, 80% is still with, 90% is still with...
I've been a retailer for 17 years. After this online thing coming in, first 2 years are part of the gang making mockery of them that they're not going to survive. They're losing so much of money. They're burning so much of money. The fact is that they burn $1, they get 10 more.
Right.
The real threat is there is a belief that this disruption is going to happen. As a retailer, I can create a website. I can do all. I can offer free coffee to my consumer, everything. But where's the money? I don't have the money. I don't have the money to do. They've got all the money.
Right.
So while I can get all the advices from people, do this, do that, do that. How do I do that? My sales are declining. My margins are already threatened. There's no belief. There's no investor belief in my model. All the money is going there.
Right.
So just thinking that, okay, making a website you can make a website in 1 week's time and with an investment as less as 1 lakh rupees. So making a website for myself, is that going to help me fighting Flipkart? And I'm fooling myself.
Right.